Hi, I'm Uriah Baker, a product of Benson Harbor, Michigan, and a graduate of Countryside Academy. And this is No Cap Wednesday. For the next 5 weeks, every Wednesday night at 7 p.m., I'll be having honest conversations with some influential members of the greater Benson Harbor community around how together we are better. We will talk with healthcare workers, ministers, community organizers, and even educators about solutions for a better Benson Harbor. So be there here every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Starting tonight. Our first guest is Tasha Walton, a makeup artist and the owner of In My Bag, a motivational lifestyle brand. And I asked Tasha to join this conversation because she offers a unique perspective and a direct line to our community that we often overlook in settings like this, which is a part of a larger conversation. So Tasha, can you introduce yourself a bit?
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Tasha Walton. As Uriah stated, I do have a brand, In My Bag. What's called In My Bag. I do makeup. I've been at Whirlpool for going on 5 years now, and I just love to be positive and have a good time and be a role model. Can't forget that.
Cool. Okay. So our first question is what we call a miracle question. So it's going to be like a big question, and then we're going to zoom right on in with the rest of the questions. So Tasha, if you went to sleep one night and woke up in the morning to a perfect community, a perfect Benson Harbor, what does that look like? How have things changed? And what does a perfect Benson Harbor look like to you?
Thank you. A perfect Benson Harbor to me is everyone getting along, coming together, all races, everyone is together. Then I would say, less violence. That'll be the bigger picture with it because, most people are scared of Benton Harbor nowadays, being the fact that the high rates of shootings, deaths, it's just everywhere. And I feel like if we can come together, especially some of the adults and the popular people, to get the young youth on the right track with that, it'll come together and everyone will be more excited to, be ready to come to Benson Harbor or want to do things here or put their businesses here or, actually hang out, won't be afraid. It'll just be very good.
I feel that. Okay, so then with that being said, what would some of your biggest priorities for the city of Benson Harbor be?
Well, one of my biggest priorities is for us to gather the youth. I feel like the youth is going off what they see a lot these days, especially as far as with television. That's a big thing with it, but also, the adults, the people that they feel, they can look up to. I feel like if we be a great role models, we get some buildings going where kids could, we can even, like some of us who do makeup, nails, barbers, we could gather the kids together and because it started with the youth always. So I feel like if we get some good things going, even back with the teen center, I know COVID is going on right now, so there's not much that we can actually do, but I feel like starting with the youth would be a good step.
I definitely agree with that. It's so crucial that we involve our youth. I recently had the opportunity to do some interviews, and that was a running theme throughout all of it. Like, we need to have something for our youth to do. I know that there's some people right now even talking about trying to build like a rec center or something like that, giving them something to do so that they're not, I think this quote says like the idle hands are the devil's playground or something like that. Because if they don't have anything to do, they're going to get into trouble.
Yes.
So I agree with that. I like that. If you could change one thing about Benson Harbor, what would it be?
Well, if I could change one thing about Benton Harbor, I would change. So first, I would say I would like for Benson Harbor to look just more clean with and throughout, So we could just gather, even if we was to like gather groups of people, that wants to keep it clean, just to make it like a good environment. That's where we should start first. People normally you see trash there, trash here, even, where our good neighborhoods, it's just always a lot of trash or, commotion going on. If we could keep the peace and keep it clean, then that'd be great.
I agree with that. So what are some of the things that you hear as a makeup artist, like when clients are sitting in your chair? I know that's one of those jobs where because you're touching people, people feel like they can open up to you.
And I
I used to
agree.
be an optician, so every time I tried on or had someone try on a pair of glasses, they just felt like they could open up to me and tell me their whole life story. So I know that happens to you. What are some of the things that you hear about the
And it
city?
is. And actually, I hear a lot, and it's going back to kind of the first question. I hear a lot, and mostly I hear about, it's sad to say, but it's violence. They'll be like, "Oh, did you hear about what happened last night?" And I'm like, "What?" And again, of course, if something bad happened, and everyone is on Facebook or all social sites talking about it. I feel like, even if I just feel like we really need to come together. That's the main thing, because I'm constantly hearing about violence, and I feel like it's too much. I feel like if we could just even though I said it starts with the youth, even us adults, if we can start like something positive for all the adults, so we could have everybody on a positive mindset, so we just don't have a lot of drama and commotion going on. I feel like that's what I hear a lot. I also hear good things, like, when the streets, have you seen across from the high school where they painted Black Lives
Black
Matter?
Lives Matter.
When
Yeah.
that happened, a lot of people was like, "Did you see that?" So it's not that good things go unnoticed, because they don't. A lot of people were speaking upon that, and I'm like, "Yeah, I seen that, and it was awesome. I think that was a great idea." But yeah, so it's good things that I hear, as well as bad things. But it's sometimes it's said that we hear more bad things when it comes to Benton Harbor, and we definitely has to put a change to that, because it's only getting worse. So that's why I feel like if we can, even with the adults, come up with some type of nights, some maybe game nights, some positive, so that it's going to be a good ending.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And you mentioned the Black Lives Matter mural. It
Yes.
was so crazy because me and one of my best friends, we were out there. I think it
Yeah.
started at almost 9 a.m. And went on to like 5 in the afternoon. I ended up
You didn't
leaving.
tell me about that. That's cool.
Listen, it was a really cool event, and it was not just people in Benson Harbor, but it was people from St. Joe. It was multiple communities coming together, and I think that's really crucial as
That's what I
well.
like about that. Yeah.
Yeah, having those communities. Tasha, people are asking me to reintroduce you. So I just wanted to go back and say that Tasha is a makeup artist and the owner of In My Bag, a motivational lifestyle brand. Tasha's been working at Whirlpool for about the last 5 years. Actually, maybe even a little more than that.
Yeah, I'll
Um,
say over 5 years.
we actually met when we worked there together. And that's when we collided and, been changing our lives ever since. But earlier I asked you about what are some of the things that you would change, and you said actually having things to do for both the kids and the adults. What are the steps to get there? Like, what do you think that we need? Who do you think needs to be in place? What does our larger corporations need to do? Who plays a part in that?
I feel like even with the mayor, I feel like the mayor could play a big part in that. If I was to, sorry. Okay. Yeah, I feel like the mayor could play a big part of that if I was to like contact him, and we could probably talk about some things that we could do. Like, we can have a few people pitch in some ideas that we can do for the adults as well as for the youth. I can have a few things for the youth, because I know that they a lot of these days it's always, I feel like it's people are what they see. So what they see, they want to do. So, because we have a lot of positive role models in Benton Harbor, we do. So I feel like, if we can go forward with that, that'd be cool. But as far as for the adults, we can come up with something. And then it doesn't even have to be with anything with alcohol or anything like that. We just have a good time, so events that we can do probably every Thursday, maybe karaoke, so I think that'd be cool as well for the adults, just so everyone can get together and have a good time, meet new people. you know I feel like it's always good and good vibes when a lot of people
It's
are together.
it's so interesting. You mentioned meet new people. I went to Countryside, um, and that was kind of my bubble. So it wasn't like I met and knew a lot of people from Benton Harbor. I grew up in church, so if you didn't have anything to do with church or Countryside, like chances are I did not know you. But then once I started hanging out with you guys, so Tasha and some other local entrepreneurs and some other just people from Benton Harbor High School, it totally changed my perspective. It's kind of interesting because, like I said, I went to countryside when I didn't have like direct lines to the city at first. So I had a certain perspective of what Benson Harbor meant and what Benson Harbor looked like, even though I grew up here. I thought that Benson Harbor was a lot of craziness. I thought that it was just violence all over the place, but this is because of what the media is telling me. This is because of what the Herald Palladium is telling. This is what these big places are telling me. Like, this is what's going on here. And if that's my only source of information, then of course that's what I'm going to think of this city. And that's from somebody living here. But then once I actually became a part of the city and actually engulfed myself in the culture here, I learned that it was something so beautiful and something so empowering about this city. And now I ride for my city. Okay.
Yes.
But Tasha, as a Black young woman entrepreneur, what are some of the things that you would advise for young people who want to start businesses?
Well, I advise, you come up with a plan. So that's the first thing. Like with my brand, I actually, don't procrastinate. I would say that because with my brand, I thought on this for probably I would say 3 years. And then I finally, and it's kind of crazy because I came up with it, but it was with a few others, and I was like, we should do this with it in my bag. And then after a while, it dawned on me and I'm like, let me move forward, because if you keep procrastinating, it's probably not gonna happen. So I went forward with it and I actually took off actually. And then, you'll have support. And then a lot of people think that, and I'll say this, a lot of people think that if they don't get shares, if they don't get likes, if people don't comment, they should stop. You should always keep going. I feel like, it's gonna get there, especially as far as with, you can compare that with rappers or singers. They have to start from the bottom to get where they actually are now. And that's how I feel about with this. A lot of people come to me like, could you share my music? Could you share that? Because I deleted it because I didn't get certain amount of views or likes. Just keep going. You got to stay focused, prayed up, and it'll get you exactly where you want to be.
I wish we could post pictures on here as we're talking, because Tasha and I actually did a in my bag photo shoot.
Yes,
and
it was
it
cool.
low-key went miniature viral, I guess you would say. Tasha's whole brand, just from her hard work.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that's important. So next question, what would you say, or who would you say are some of the important partners in the community that could kind of help with the plan that you mentioned? So creating those things for something to do in the community.
Yeah. So I would say Ardell. I know a lot of people know Ardell. So Ardell, he's very awesome. He works great with kids. He puts a lot of stuff together, even as far as adults. With a lot of events, he play a huge part. His personality is great. His vibe is great. I feel like he would be he would be an awesome person to contact when it comes to things like this, because he always have a plan. I also would say Tracy Burton. Tracy Burton is pretty cool. She works with even adults with certain things. Tracy also have a brand herself, and I actually contacted Tracy a few times to assist me with my brand. So I do love Tracy for that. But Tracy is pretty good. So I feel like Tracy, and then kids look up to her. When you're a role model, it's pretty good to put those in the same group, because that's who the younger kids are looking up to, and that's what we have next coming into the generation. So I feel like those two would be great. It's plenty more. It's definitely plenty more. But those two would be great.
They were going to be coming for you after this if you didn't say their name.
Yeah.
So, that's a good question. What are some of your favorite places in Benson Harbor?
That was a good question. Some of my favorite places in Benson Harbor is, I love going to Applebee's. And I would say, that's a nice spot. You get, the music is always awesome. I learned a lot of new songs there. You have a good time with your friends. You'll be bored. Hey, I used to call Uriah all the time. Hey, let's go to Applebee's. He's like, come get me, or he'll come get me. And we'll go to Applebee's. We'll have a good time. Even meeting their waitress. We became cool with a lot of their waitress. So that was cool. I love going to the movies. That's my peace place. I love the movies. I feel like it's a good thing always to go. Even if you fall asleep during the movie, it's you wake up and you still be like, okay, that was cool. But those for the activities or, you know, things like that. But so, and then a lot of people forget about the library. So I feel like the library is actually a good place to go, you know, as far as to have like a peace of mind, you know, and also with meeting others, you know, and it's always good to know a lot of people. A lot of people always say like, you know, they'll kind of try to down you about having a lot of friends or, you know, meeting a lot of people. I love meeting new people. You know, it's always good to have different sets of friends. Also, like I love having positive people around me because when you have positive people around you, the only way is up, and that's what the goal is to go up. So, what else do we have?
The drink spot. What
Healthy
is it
Harbor,
called? Healthy
or no?
Harbor. I know y'all
I was
stay
just,
there.
you know, I couldn't forget Healthy Harbor. I was just gonna mention Healthy Harbor. So Healthy Harbor is great too. Like they have great personalities. When you walk in, they're gonna greet you. They're gonna let you taste things before purchasing. You know, like Healthy Harbor is great. They let you come in and study. They'll actually have good conversations with you. You feel like, do I work here? When you, that's the type of vibe that they give. So I actually love Healthy Harbor.
And I'm not sure if you've ever been there, but the Phoenix Cafe, since a little bit pre-pandemic, that ended up being my spot down on Water Street. It's a place. They have books. They have live music sometimes. Shout out to Aiden. Him and his dad and family play there sometimes. It's a really cool spot to have meetings and read books. That's one of my favorite spots. And then honorable mention, even though it's not in Benson Harbor, but it's right across the bridge, Czars. We go there. We used to go there every Thursday night. It was the vibe, something to do, something positive, something fun.
Yeah.
And it really brought the community together.
It did.
Okay, so next question. What are some of the specific roles you'll want to play in realizing this change, and what responsibilities would you assign to them?
I didn't hear the end.
Well, let's just start with the first question. What are some of the specific roles that you would like to play?
Well, I would like to be. See, I'll play any role that need to be played, honestly. But I love being a mentor, especially, you know, to everyone, to youth, to adults. I love being the one that people can come to about problems. I don't mind going out to, you know, if I have to, if someone call, you know, if there was a time where someone like, okay, I need you, I'll drop everything, I'll come. You know, I'll play a big part as far as that, and as far as like helping other with ideas. As far as, like I said, I am in the business with the, like my brand, I can help as far as that. As far as makeup, you know, I could start classes, you know, as far as a lot, I can actually gather up a lot of positive people, or a lot of people, period, you know, to get everyone on the right track. So I feel like there's a lot that I could play a role in with that.
What is your vision for the Benson Harbor youth and adults? Because you've mentioned that that's been a running theme with this whole thing. So what is your vision for the better Benson Harbor?
My vision is for Benson Harbor to be how it used to be. Everyone getting along, you know, everyone coming together, events, more things to do. You know, I feel like if we, even with the mall, you know, I'll bring that up because back when I was young, you know, we would go to the mall just to hang out, you know, have a good time. And now it's like no mall. I feel like if we can get Benton Harbor to have like more things to do, as far as stores, as far as like, you know, events, just a lot of things, because a lot of people go out of town even just for the smallest things. And if we had it at Benton Harbor, people can travel to us. So I feel like that plays a big part. It's just a lot when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But I would love for Benton Harbor to be how it was, because it's a lot has changed over the years.
This is true. I tell the story all the time. When I was younger, I got lost in the mall in Benson Harbor during Christmas time because that's how busy it was. Now it's a ghost town there, and it's crazy.
Yeah. Now.
But someone in the comment section, they asked a question. It says, "Are there any recreational programs in the community for kids and young adults that does not involve the Boys and Girls Club?" Do you know of any right now?
That's the thing. That's what I was stating earlier. That I know of, no. Only the Boys and Girls Club, and I'm not sure if it's because of COVID right now, and there's not much that we can possibly go on. But that's why I feel we need more activities such as that.
I definitely agree with that. If you go to Lake Michigan College, which I definitely recommend going to local community colleges first, shameless plug. But if you go to LMC, there's a group there called the Start to Finish program. So that's college age students. If you go there, that's a really helpful group of young people. You go on college campus tours. Like there's just all this fun stuff that they do. I used to be a part of that. Let me think. What other groups are there? The Boys and Girls Club, and then yeah, honestly, there's not a lot for our young people to do, and that's something that we need to change. And I said we on purpose because we're the generation that has to change it. We can't just sit around and hope for it to magically change. We have to do something, get up and change it ourselves. Let's see. I think we have another question in the comment section. There hasn't been a new school building in over 50 years. Should that be a priority for this community, do you think?
I definitely think that should be a priority, especially because, even with the schools being, even as far as, the high school, a lot of kids, go there and went there, our parents went there. I feel like, that's why a lot of people, have, doubts about it. That's why people send their kids off to, Eau Claire or Bering Springs, but I feel like if it was more options of schools here, we would, we wouldn't have to take it, to that level. I mean, those are great schools as well. Don't get me wrong, but I'm stating, as far as in Benton Harbor.
I definitely agree. Like I mentioned earlier, I went to countryside, so there wasn't, you know, I had a great school experience. But
Yeah.
but I hadn't really had a chance to go to Benson Harbor High School, like be there at all until after I graduated. And I remember my first time walking through the halls there. It was a basketball game. I was on my way to the bathroom, and I'm just looking at how like decrepit the hallways were, and not only the hallways, the bathrooms too. There was no mirrors in the boys' bathroom. Like it was writing graffiti all over the walls, and that was just mind-boggling to me that we would even let our own space get like that. It was
Yes.
crazy because that would never happen at Countryside, and that's not me comparing the two, but it is me saying like we need to do better.
Yeah. Started with us.
Starting with us. Okay, so another question in the comments. Let's see here. Giving myself my own theme music. Mary asked if you could share what Benton Harbor used to be like.
Okay. So I feel like Benton Harbor, how if have you ever been somewhere and you feel the love?
Yeah.
That's how it was. It was like, everyone got along. Everyone, and then it was more things to do. We used to have lock-ins. We we had a lot of things going on when we were younger, especially even with schools, like we used to be so excited about the games, even linking up with your old friends, that separated schools. It was just like a lot to do. Like, as I stated about the mall, we would go there just to hang out, and it's a lot of things that we had, that's not here anymore. And it's sad, that at this point we can't even remember because it's been gone for a while now, the things. Benton Harbor is like, every time when someone even think of fun or something to do, they automatically say, I'm going to go out of town. It's never, I'm going to stay in town, because we really have nothing to do. That's why I feel like we need to bring more things here to make the community feel back loved as it was once before.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Someone asked, as a younger or from a younger perspective, what can be done to help address the violence that occurs in places like Highland or Blossom Acres, or I think those are the same things.
Yeah,
We
they are.
always call it Highland, or Highland, Michigan. But what are some of the things that can be done in places like those from your perspective?
Well, I feel like, which I seen that was tried numerous of times, but maybe not actually out in Highland. Peace walk. We can start with that. A peace walk, maybe in the summertime or when it starts to get warm, have a few activities out there in the front office, a little space, for the young adults or the youth, so everyone could get along. Because normally they're used to seeing like violence actually, so it's like soon something happens, they run into it, and then it's starting other things to happen because there's so many people out there, so much commotion. It's just always a lot. But I feel like if we when it starts to warm up, if some of us, we can get together and we can start like some activities for the youth out there, and something positive out there, because it's always, when we hear of Highland, it's always something negative. And I won't say always, but most of the time.
Someone asked earlier, they asked about things to do or groups in Benton Harbor. Shameless plug, because I used to be a part of it and still kind of am. The Greater Youth Movement, I think it's called, ran out of, what is the name of that church? Wow. I can't think of the name of the church right now, but there's a church that goes out into Harbor of Hope, there we go, that goes out to communities like Highland or Harbor Bluff, places like that, and they sit down with the young people and just have fun with them and give them something to do. We did community baby showers, community picnics. We had some really great times out there, and that's just giving people something to do and people something to believe in. It has nothing to do with a religion or anything like that. Just giving people something to do, and I think that's super crucial in our community. Let's see. Next question. Do you think people in our community need financial, mental, and educational resources?
I do. I definitely agree with that. I feel like that'll be a big step in the community, actually, to start with things such as that, financial, mental, because it's always a lot, it's always more that people want to do, but they actually can't. So I feel like that's a big step with even starting that. It's always a lot. Like, I know it's a lot that I want to do all the time, and I can't because of certain things. So I feel like that would definitely be needed.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And with that being said, again, another shameless plug. I feel like I'm doing commercial breaks, but the Center for Better Health, which is a project that I was a part of, they offer a lot of those services, that financial help, that mental health help, and I think even like housing and things. They are open at the moment, taking a quick break for the new year, but they will be reopening, and they have all those resources. On January 12th, they'll be reopening. They have people who can connect you to the help that people in our community desperately need. And it's not, that someone is swooping down and saving people, but it's just that unfortunately a lot of us don't know where to start because it can
That's
be
the thing.
overwhelming. Yeah, it can be overwhelming.
Yes, especially starting. It's always easy when it's already a foundation built, but when you're trying to start, it's like, where do I start? So that definitely was a good point.
Yeah, and it's all free. They also offer food assistance, and listen, the world is crazy right now. We're going through COVID. We're going through racial injustice. We're going through our capital being seized at the moment. Like, there's so many things going on in the world. So resources like this are super crucial to communities like ours, to Black folks, because unfortunately we weren't dealt a good hand in the beginning, but we can definitely, as I said in the beginning, still we rise. But our next question, what are some of the do's and don'ts that you should be aware of when it comes to holding power in this community? And what are some of the things that institutions should not do and should do?
Okay. Well, with that question, I feel like not having institutions such as Whirlpool coming in to kind of like, be a part.
Oh, no, go ahead. Just don't say names.
I'm sorry, it came out. But yeah, like certain companies to come over and be a part, or actually to, take over. I feel like with that, for that. reason.
No, I
Sorry.
definitely agree. And I
Yeah.
think even things like what we're doing right now, because this is, and again, another shameless plug commercial. Um, this is a Spectrum Health Lakeland situation. So like things like this, empowering community members to have conversations like this, because honestly, I mean, we could have this conversation. Honestly, we've had this conversation or conversations like this through FaceTime and in person and over Uno cards. You know, this is what we do.
Right.
But to actually have this brought to a larger audience is super crucial and super important when it comes to corporations or institutions being held responsible for all the things that they've done or didn't do in the past. So I definitely agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Another question in the comments: do you feel connected to your elected offices enough to order them to help the community?
Well, that's kind of a tough question, being the fact, I mean, I feel like we can get to it. But then again, it's like certain things being in the way. That come back to kind of a question from earlier. Like,
So do you know, and this isn't a question to like kind of throw you off or anything like that, but do you know who our state representatives are?
that's the thing. I feel like a few, but not quite.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that happens often in communities like ours. We
Right.
don't even know who represents us because they don't come around.
That's the thing. And I didn't want to go forward with, I mean, just blurting that out there, but that's basically what I was going to get to. Like, we kind of don't know. A lot of us don't know because, it's not shown. It's not, they're not coming forward to even let us know. So it's like a lot with that.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out, and this is not an endorsement at all, but a shout out to Shoquay Pitchford. He was running for state rep this last election go around, and he actually came to a lot of the Benson Harbor doors, and that's something that doesn't happen often. The person that we have elected now, I don't even think she came to Benson Harbor doors. I won't say her name just because I don't want to even give her any publicity. But she didn't even come to Benton Harbor doors. I know she knocked on people's doors in St. Joe because they mentioned it. They were like, "Hey, she popped up," but she didn't come to these Black and brown doors.
And that's
And
the
I think that's
thing.
a problem on itself.
I agree with that. I feel like, that's the thing as far that's where it kind of go back from earlier, being the fact that, with Benton Harbor, a lot of people kind of feel like, in danger when that's not even the case. I know we have, shootings or deaths, but that's everywhere. But since Benton Harbor is so small, and there are more African Americans that actually do live in Benton Harbor, people don't like to, even let it be known that they're connected with it, and I feel like that's not okay.
Listen, Tracy is in this in the comment section hyping me up, so I'm gonna get comfortable because we still got a little ways to go. Um, so like, what you mentioned the shootings and you mentioned it before. So like, who do you think needs to speak up? Who do you think needs to say something? Who do you think needs to do something
And that's the
for
thing.
our young people to wake up?
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like that's a very good question because even I go to New Bethel, and the pastor speak on that all the time. All the time. Tired of doing funerals. Tired of the shooting. Tired of all of that. And, McAfee, he's gonna speak up, and everyone knows that. So even with him speaking up on it, and speaking to the adults, and even and it's so sad these days that the youth, the younger guys growing up, are following the same footsteps. It's like, when I hear things about like the younger kids having a party and it was a shootout, I'm like, are you serious? Back when we was young, it was none of that. We went in and danced. The mice been grown a little bit, but everybody got home safe. There was no drama, and I feel like there's got to be a way that we can get back to those days. Honestly, I come in, with that. I feel like maybe it should start with us. Maybe
Yeah.
we should come up with something that we could do, to get everybody back on the right path with that. It's because it has to stop. It's actually ridiculous.
Do you have any ideas of things that we could do to make sure that doesn't happen? to
That's
ensure our kids are safe, because like you
right.
mentioned, or like McAfee mentioned, like there's a funeral for young people every other week now, and it's crazy.
And it's ridiculous. And I feel like maybe if I feel like, every event or every party that goes on or every, anything, there should be, a metal detector or something, so no guns, no any of that, because after the fact, it's like things happen inside of events, parties, shootings and things like that, and that's not okay. And then it makes it worse. Everyone have to run out of the event. It just starts more drama and commotion. I feel like we can start with that, even though that's being done. I just don't. We'll have to have a long conversation on that.
I definitely agree. Okay, so we're gonna shift the conversation a little bit, because that just got mad heavy, and I mean it's the truth, but it's a little heavy. Um, so in our little promo video, they talked about how you help people look good or look their best from the inside and the outside. So I want to jump to the outside of what you do for a second.
Okay.
And since you're a cosmetologist or you focus on makeup, um, what's the right foundation can make the difference and make a person feel like their best self. What is your favorite makeup routine foundation? And what makes you feel your best?
Well, actually, that was a great question. So, what makes me feel my best is actually getting cute. Doing my makeup, fixing my hair, getting dressed. It make you feel cute. Can nobody, even though without the makeup and everything, you feel like no one could put you down. But when you got it all on, literally, no one could put you down. See, I got my brush right here. So with that being said, I actually love. I use Juvia's product. Actually, it's at Ulta, or they have a website as well. I'm more of a natural person. I literally just did my makeup in like 10 minutes today, so I wanted to be a little cute for the video. But so I use I love a natural face. Like I love eyebrows, lashes. I don't have any today on, but I love like eyebrows, lashes, and foundation. I have pretty oily skin, so. And I know that's I have that question a lot. A lot of people have oily skin, and I kind of use like a setting powder from Juvia's as well. So it's like I just love a natural makeup beat, make you feel cute.
Okay, Tasha on the beat. And it's so
Period.
crazy because you mentioned or the question mentioned how makeup makes you feel better. One of my first, I mentioned it a little while ago, my first experience with going to Benson Harbor High School was going to a game, and it was one of the Christmas tournaments. And I don't know if you remember this, but we were actually together. And I just threw on some sweats because I didn't know like this was a thing. And then I get there, and it was the first night of the tournament, so everybody is dressed, okay? And it's
Shut.
okay. This is when the community really comes together and really puts on a show, because they were dressed. And I was like, okay, listen, this next night I'm gonna be ready.
Yep. The second night we
Okay.
gotta go for a bang.
I never made that mistake again. And I think even going back to what we were talking about earlier, like things like that is what brings our community together.
It does. See, a lot of people say a lot about Benson Harbor, but they'll always say, but Benton Harbor can dress. And they're going to look good and it's going to bring people together. And then most of them are nice. They like compliment you like, oh, you look cute. Or, like I can say that about this community. Like, even if I'm at stores thinking I look a mess, they be, you look cute. I'm like, oh, thank you. They put a smile on your face. And that's the biggest thing for me, to smile and actually mean it.
Yeah, I have a goal that everywhere that I go, I try and compliment at least 2 people.
That's
Just because you
great.
never know what somebody's going through. And listen,
Yeah.
if you compliment me, listen, we finna have a good time because we're gonna go back and forth.
Look, the conversation gonna last for about 10 minutes off that one compliment.
I definitely agree. So another question in the comment section: what are some of the things, in your opinion, that tear down self-esteem for our young people?
I feel like as far as the bashing on social media, like social media these days, well, we could be here at 12 tonight. No, I'm joking. But social media these days, it's like I feel like everybody like it's like I hate to use these words, but a monkey see, monkey do. Like if someone posts a picture, if they feel like they're cute, even if I don't think it, but I'm not judgmental. I always, I'm going to love the picture and I'm going to comment. Soon, then here's the shady post on Facebook, like, oh, everyone's under that post and everybody get to laughing at them. Then they put their self-esteem down, like, make them delete the picture and everything like that. I feel like, if you look nice, you feel you look nice, just hey, everybody's not gonna love what you do, and that's totally fine. It's actually okay to have a few haters. You have to tell people that, in order to let them know, like, be yourself. So I feel like, social media is the big for making people feel down or, feeling less of a person, like, because they will get on you. And it will be a team, and I feel like that's not fair.
Yeah. I feel like I remember hearing on like a reality TV show or something that you're not popping if you don't got haters. So I mean, listen, that
That's what I
opportunity
always say.
right there. But
Yeah.
okay, so then the next part of that question, what are some of the things that young people can do to help build their self-esteem?
And I would say, when I was, especially these days, but when I was younger, makeup or just getting dressed just because really wasn't in style. But, I feel like, waking up, making sure, you brush your teeth, wash your face, just make yourself look presentable, even if you're going to check the mail. You know what you never know who you're going to run into. Always just look presentable. It's going to make you feel better. If you're walking around with pajamas or a bonnet, you're going to feel like you sleep and you want to be
Yeah.
awoke at all times. You want to be awake at all times. So I feel like start with your appearance.
So with that being said, since we're in quarantine and everybody's working from home and this is the new normal,
Right.
do you feel like it's still important to get dressed and get, just look good for the
Well,
day? And is that what you do?
see, I work from home, but the type of person I am, I'm very girly. So I do work from home. So if you come over my house early in the morning, you probably would see me in the bed working. I'm gonna be honest. But when I'm not working, I'm a robe person, so I always have on my robe, but I always like flat on my hair and, lip gloss on. I just want to look cute still, Snapchat is popular. You never know when you want to just like pop a snap in, you just always want to look cute or, feel to make you feel better about yourself, you don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really big on that because, listen, I just sit at home all day because I work from home now.
Right.
Or mostly work from home now. So I will get dressed in a heartbeat with nowhere to go.
Right. And
walk to the car just to get dressed. I mean, get dressed just to walk to the car to grab something.
Yeah.
That's the life that we live right now, though.
It is.
But all right, Tasha, I thank you so much for this experience. This conversation has been so enlightening and so amazing. And you are our first guest on No Cap Wednesday. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. And to our guests, thank you so much for being with us this evening. I want to thank all of you, along with Spectrum Health Lakeland and the Center for Better Health, for making this forum possible. And see you next Wednesday night at 7 p.m.
Thank you for having me, Uriah. I had a good time.
Yes, it was amazing.
It really was.
All right, see you, Tasha.
See ya.